this episode, I have a very dear friend of mine. She is an organic growth expert and she's the queen of LinkedIn. And I'm extremely excited to have a conversation with her. And I'll try my best to dig deep some secrets, some organic growth secrets from her. So let's dig deep into the conversation.
Warm welcome, Unnati, to the Women's Stories. How have you been doing lately?
Amazing, and pretty much excited for this podcast because this is my first podcast recording. So I'm nervous, but I'm really excited. So thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure is all mine, and there is nothing to be nervous. We'll have fun. So, taking you towards the interview mood, now my first question for you is 4 myths regarding organic marketing.
4 myths, I would say. First, it comes for free. So a lot of people think that organic marketing means you don't have to invest any money, which is wrong. The second is it takes a lot of time to generate results. No, that's not true. If the strategy is right in place, it will start working in the first quarter, that is 3 months or so. But of course, this is not a promise, but something that I and my team try to do when we onboard a client. The third thing is organic marketing does nothing is the third myth, because a lot of people rely on ads and they don't know the part wherein you can actually post Quora answers, Twitter threads, Reddit threads, and post on LinkedIn and actually build a very powerful brand. And the fourth is it's a waste of time. No, it isn't. So basically, I usually tell people that organic marketing is like owning an apartment. So you can rent an apartment by investing in ads, because till the time you're putting in money, you're getting the results. But organic marketing is like investing in your home. It will take some time, but the results that it will generate would be long lasting. So yeah, these are the 4 myths, and I've tried to burst them along with the myths that I've stated. So yeah.
Yeah. I think many people along with me are keep them updated with your posts. So we have already read a lot of LinkedIn posts where you have been breaking stereotypes around organic marketing. So if any one would like to have a look to Unnati's profile, feel free to reach out to her and have a look on a post. She's amazing with organic marketing. So when did you reach to a point where, like when your passion started on, generating revenue that was enough to have a sustainable life? And then what was the significant decision that you took for your business at that time?
All right. So basically, I started as a content writer, and that too, I was in a networking event, and this person came to me and said, "Oh, you speak so wonderfully. So can you write for us?" And I said, "Why not?" And I was in a very mundane job where I was actually feeling caught up. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a try, though I'm not a writer, because the first thing I thought about when it came to content writing was, now I have to act like a writer. What they'll tell me to write a book. So it was very new to me, and I was very naive that time. So, but I did my first assignment at 10 paise per word, and then eventually I started falling for it. Okay, and not just writing part, but also how it is so powerful that it can just make or break any brand. So I was doing it on and off along with my job for through 2.5 years, and one day I thought, okay, I'll ask for a raise from my present company and they'll not give me, and I'll be like, okay, now I'm leaving. But they actually gave me a raise, which made me realize that there's something in my skill set that has more potential, because if a company can give you a raise twice, then probably you're doing something good. But while I was thinking that, there was no major decision that I took myself. It was all destined that I had corneal erosion, wherein my cornea started hurting itself, self-harming itself. And my doctor told me to take some rest. And that was the time I had to leave my job. And once I left my job, I actually started falling for marketing and content writing and how wonderful it was all over again. And that was the tipping point for me. That's when I realized, okay, I'm not going to do a job ever again. I'm going to build my own business and probably hire people who have the same spark as me. And that has what, so something which started from a networking event is now a thriving business. And the entire journey, though accidental, was backed by a lot of hard work and consistency.
Absolutely. We can already see your hard work and consistency. So kudos to you for that and helping, a large amount of people around you. I'm also one among them. And I can completely relate to that job part, because I also have a similar story. Even I left my job and I said at the company that I am going to have an admission. I did had an admission letter, but I was sure that I'm not taking admission in that particular university, but I showed my admission letter to them and I said, bye-bye.
Okay. That's such a beautiful story. I think that is how most of the best of best marketers that I see today, or writers that I see today, have this story, that they stumble upon an opportunity and then they just take it. And now they're doing what they're doing, like you and me in this conversation. So I think whenever you're encountered by an opportunity which is not very obvious or which is not very in the line of your direction, just try and explore it, because you never know what comes out of it.
I agree. So what do you enjoy more, organic marketing or copywriting?
Copywriting is part of organic marketing, I would say. So I enjoy organic marketing more. but copywriting or content writing is a part of it. So when I'm doing that, I enjoy it. But I love when I see my copies generating results. When I see the before and after for a company, like you see those amazing results of before and after, somebody losing weight, clearing their acne, stuff like that. It's that beautiful. When you see a person confident, here I see a brand confident that, oh, our marketing funnel is finally working. So when that is happening, that's more appealing to me. So I would say it's organic marketing.
Great. So as an entrepreneur and a business person, what is the most crucial advice about scaling a business you wish that most entrepreneurs don't know?
There are actually two. So sorry for that. But the first one is that when we as entrepreneurs are given some advice, we just take it very negatively, thinking that our business is our baby and nobody knows more about it than us. But somebody who is a consultant and somebody who has 4 mentors already, sometimes listening to advice is the best thing that you can do for your business, because you are seeing it with so many layers of love that you're not seeing the actual picture. So you should always, so you don't have to do anything and everything that people tell you, but do listen to them. They might have a point. So the biggest mistake that people do is that they don't listen to anybody and just keep on trying to prove a point. But the thing is that as an entrepreneur, you are always on that time or clock watch, and you need to learn from other people's mistakes. So don't do all the mistakes all over again and then learn from them. So take people's advice sometimes. And the second is not hiring. So sometimes we think that we are jack of all trades and we'll do everything on our own. And a lot of times we don't find people as competitive as us, but that's perfectly fine. People can be trained, but you have 24 hours and you have to utilize them in the best manner. So start outsourcing work, hire people, because as your team grows, you grow. So that's another piece of advice, that don't save on those little salaries, because you will be pushing a lot of people to achieve their dream. And once they also kind of, connect with your dream, the bigger picture will be more clearer. So a lot of interns that I've hired who are working on my client's payroll and I have to manage them, they are amazing. A lot of times I see 19, 20-year-old kids, I would say, doing stuff that I don't even imagine. It's such a wild imagination. And I'm so glad I have those that sort of talent to work with. So yeah, I think expansion is also another thing which is often missed by entrepreneurs.
So what is your take on hiring interns when you are on an initial stage, especially in the case of startups, when they are not ready to pay a wholesome amount to interns? So how to, hire intern at that stage?
I would say, startups need to understand that you're not hiring cheap resources when you're hiring interns. So it's a two-way road. If you'll hire them at a stipend of 2,000, 1,000, it's not going to be worth it. You have to give them a lot of value in return. It can be, of course, so a lot of people come to me and want to intern with me if I grow their social media channel. So I pay them, plus I grow their channels. But a lot of my interns have been drawing 15,000, 20,000 per month. So it's a two-way road. You need to pay people well, incentivize them in a way that they work their heart off. They'll just work for you in such a beautiful manner. They don't consider time. They don't consider anything. If something has to happen, they'll make it happen. But I'll also say that for companies, they should make their process of hiring very long, because the person who sticks till the end is actually interested in that job and not just a certification. All right. So getting hired by my clients, so all the interns have to go through 2-3 steps, and they are routed through me or via me, and I make sure I'm very strict that time. So basically, if I'm hiring a copywriter, I'll say, okay, in a Zoom call, you have 1 minute to give me 2 quirky copies on this agenda. Then they'll do that. So I'm not asking for cheap labor. I'll never make the person write thousands and thousands of words to decide if they're worthy, and not even worthy if they are the right fit for the company. But I would make sure that I challenge them in every possible way, because once the real challenge comes, they're able to face it. So I think your hiring process should be very well thought and elaborate in order to avoid people who are just coming for certifications. But of course, you have to pay them well so that they actually work.
That's something new to listen. Thanks a lot for this wisdom. But I'm still curious. When startups are just starting, they are not sure of the amount of revenue that they will be generating in the coming months. So they cannot promise anything to them. But yeah, if in case, of course, there is a good amount of revenue generation, they would be more than happy to provide that certain amount to the interns. So in that case, when you are hiring your first or second intern, then how to convince them?
It was a barter. So I actually told them, I remember one of my very recent, hires for a client. I told them, if you can get a webinar for this college, you will be hired. So that was their task. They did it. They wanted to come at no stipend, but it is a two-way road. So the stipend involved was less, but the benefit and value. This person is in every client call. This person is the front face of so many things, operations that happen. So if you give that kind of exposure, and if they, there's one of the people that I'm working with, he wants to have his own startup. So I'm connecting him with relevant people from my network. Okay, so you help your interns in small ways, and they'll get back to you with so many things. So if you, and it's not always about money. When these interns are usually in college, they are backed by their parents, and not always money is not that important for them. So if you give them the kind of exposure that they're looking for, somebody wants to join you for sales, business development, social media management, and they know nothing about it, when you give them that sort of knowledge, I think that's equivalent to stipend. So if you're not able to pay them well, at least give them that value. If your company has a course, give it to them for free. If your company is going for a meeting, involve them in that meeting. Just give them the kind of importance and exposure that they expect, so that they stick with you even if the stipend is a little less.
That was really helpful for me, and I think it would be helpful for all our audience that might be listening to this podcast. So thanks a lot for sharing your insight. I mean, this was really something like I've got a piece of gold. So thanks a lot for sharing it. So what is the importance of website renovation, and how often a person should do that?
All right. So as a consultant, I update my website every 3 months because that's where my business runs from. As corporates, I would say every time you are launching a campaign, or every time there's a new product edition, you should do it. Don't just leave it as the about you section, about me section on LinkedIn, which is not updated for years and years. Don't do that. And by the way, do update that section as well. But, just as a company, do it 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, time to time. And as a freelancer or consultant, do it 3 months, once in 3 months, so that you keep on updating the latest work. Now, I am on this podcast, and the logo of this podcast should go on my website, right? So every 3 months, all the collaborations that have been done, all the new products that have come out need to be updated, so that because you are growing month on month, so should your website replicate that or show that. So that's very important. So as an individual freelancer or consultant, do it once in every 3 months. So that's 4 times a year. And as a company or a brand, every time you launch something new, there's something which is PR worthy, value worthy, try and update it on your website.
Yes, specifically the testimonial, like the whole copy needs to be changed. The brands you have worked recently with, or the testimonial you have received, and things like that.
Yeah. So you can do it in parts. If it's a lot of work, every quarter, target some areas that you want to improve on, and then do that. So by the end of the year, you'll have a beautiful looking website with all the necessary information that you want.
Yeah. So I have a funny story here to add on. I recently changed all the about section and everything, stuff like that, but I forgot to change my profile picture, and I haven't changed it yet. And before I had long hairs, and now and then I in between I had a bald head, and then now my hair length is different. So people used to approach me like, you look too different in your profile. Like, is it the same Khushi that we are? I mean, yeah, it's just the hairstyle, and I'm the same person.
Okay, yeah. So I had felt that when I saw your social media handles first, and then you just came and we were on this pre-call for this podcast, and I was like, oh, she's a very different person. And also in that case, when I see your profile, it's so well polished, and you're doing these beautiful giveaways and everything, and you're trying to help so many people. You have this amazing podcast, and then I see a girl taking this podcast interview in that cute headband, and it's very contrasting, but it's so gorgeous at the same time, that you are two personalities. Your professional life and your bubbliness and everything put together is a beautiful personality. So yeah, you are very different from your social media handles.
Thanks a lot for your kind words. So what are the unsaid fundamentals of PR according to you? Would love if you may expand career option with regards to PR.
All right. So basically, PR or marketing should not look like PR or marketing. Now, you can repeat this 1,000 times in a day to understand that as smooth and amazing it looks, and it should not look as marketing, more and more people will get attached to your agenda, right? So, all these campaigns that are being done by amazing brands like Dove, Truecaller, right? You see Humans of Bombay putting out amazing stories in association with these brands. This is a kind of marketing, but it's so genuine that you feel connected to it. So same with PR and of course marketing, that you have to make it look like it's very natural. Okay, you can't just say today we had organized a match in our company, PR done. No, you have to go for the bigger goals, that we are taking care of the physical and mental health of our employees. We're not just making them work. The way you tweak your words, the pictures, they make such a huge impact. But of course, it's not just for the fluff and show off that you have to do, but PR also has to come from heart. It cannot be, we did 1,000 crores of CSR and then not doing it. But yeah, your words and your gratitude and your feeling towards that particular piece of news matters a lot. And of course, make it as transparent as possible. Make it not look like PR and marketing, and a lot of eyeballs would be grabbed in the process.
That was an insightful answer. So what is your take for a budding PR expert who is trying to explore different career options?
All right. So I would suggest that whatever you do in college in your journalism course is perfectly fine, but you do need to, sort of intern with the right people or notice the right patterns in the industry, keep your eyes very open. Right. So when you're seeing all these beautiful campaigns by Humans of Bombay, you should also understand the slightest marketing part behind it. Right. And for both the brands, nothing on, online is for free. Right. So all the brands are investing so much in content, in terms of graphics, in terms of collaboration. So appreciate that, but also observe the, the patterns that every brand is showcasing, the kinds of PRs, the kinds of marketing happening. And so you have your degree, amazing, that will get you your first job. But your, the way you observe things, be it in any field, marketing, copywriting, graphics, data science, till the time your observation skills are very strong, you will get the next best opportunities in your life.
So a question out of curiosity, like recently companies are focusing on emotional advertisement. They are trying to hit the emotions. They are trying to hit the human psychology, but like there is no particular CTA to their advertisement. So what is the aim behind such kind of advertisements?
All right. So a lot of times, have you gone to malls and you see that companies like LIC have a booth in the mall wherein you can just get your health checkup done, or probably there's a kids zone wherein people can kids can play, and LIC has its hoardings, right? There's no game. Children are coming, they're playing. But what the brands are trying to do is imprint their name in your head. So the next time you see their name, you know that, oh, this brand, I saw it in the mall. My kid was playing in their booth. So yeah, they are credible. They're doing a lot of other activities. And out of XYZ policies that I've heard about when it comes to insurance, I think LIC is more reliable because I've seen them putting a lot of efforts and money and time in advertising and stuff. So it's not direct marketing, but they're trying to imprint their names in your brain.
So that was a beautiful answer. Because I asked this question, I recently saw a break of Prega News. So there was no CTI in that and nothing that. It was just an emotional story where the message was given like every one couple out of 10, faces infertility, and be kind to them, and like just observe such kind of people. So I was just curious, what is the ultimate aim of this advertisement? They must be as an organic marketing expert, I would like to have your take on the same. Like they just try to convey like every couple out of 10 couple are facing infertility, so be kind to them and have empathy to such kind of people, because women are always targeted in such cases. So like, what is your take on that particular piece of content?
People need that kind of empathy with marketing. You can't be just, oh, you're not fertile, then you can just go to this lab or that lab and get IVF done, take our pregnancy test more often, because that's just very rude. Now, there are two parts to this marketing. First, you are actually genuinely caring for your target audience, which is cool, which is beautiful, which is amazing. And the second, subtly, you're trying to convey this message that whenever you want to get into that phase, you choose us, because we know what we are doing. There was this sanitary napkin brand which actually showed the real color. And not like the usual. And that was their tipping point. That was their marketing. Although they were just so empathetic about the fact that why do you have to make it to blue in order to highlight certain, features of your product? But when they actually showed the real color, people started associating with that brand. So sometimes brand very candidly come out with no CTA so that you start trusting them. Because there have been brands from 20, 30, 40 years who are thriving in that niche. So for a new brand, the best thing that they can capture in terms of market interest is the trust of their target audience. And all these brands are having ads and so many freemiums and free plans is because they want to garner that initial trust.
Okay, that was like kind of relaxing to hear because, and also it was insightful because I wanted to hear an appropriate answer from an expert like you. So thanks for keeping out your wisdom nuggets. So what is your opinion on Facebook organic marketing, as it seems for like Facebook is almost dead? So what is your advice when you are building a genuine and authentic community over Facebook?
See, every platform has its own pros and cons. Yes, organic reach on Facebook has died because leads are very cheap. When you do a lead generation campaign on Facebook versus Google, it's very cheap. So now as marketers, we see Facebook as a platform wherein we can do lead generation, right? The paid marketing is amazing. When it comes to organic, the Facebook groups are thriving. People are making millions by building amazing communities. They charge 100 or 500 rupees per month to be in that group. And of course, premium knowledge is shared. So if you want to earn via Facebook and grow organically, have a group and add good quality content. And a lot of people will eventually pay you to be in that group, right? So organic marketing is totally not dead. The pages can be dead sometimes, but groups are very active. So you can probably leave one feature and move towards another. Doesn't mean that the platform is bad. The platform is amazing for paid marketing and growing groups and monetizing them, growing communities and monetizing them. And yeah, And there's something called cohort based learning, wherein people are making cohorts and learning. So an online Zumba class is doing much better because like 10 ladies are just after sipping their cold coffee or their morning drink, they're joining. So cohort based learning and all. So Facebook groups are doing that very amazingly. Yeah, but on LinkedIn the groups are dead, but the individual posts are doing great. On Instagram now the single posts are redundant and people are going for carousels and reels. So every platform has one or the other feature dead. There is scope to grow on Facebook via these communities. And
that's complicated. Like, you have to kind of observe what is working and what is not working.
Yes.
As you said, like, this is groups are not working on LinkedIn, but groups are working on Facebook. Like, that's a clear distinction where you should invest your time with regards to
correct.
So
if you're building a personal brand, I would never recommend going on Facebook. Go on LinkedIn, or some other active community like Twitter. But if you want to grow your community, then go on Facebook or Reddit.
As a content writer, I think you must have observed Facebook, like 0.1 paisa and 0.2 paisa, and that's that kind of post. So what is your take on that? Like, I'm literally like scared with Facebook nowadays, because as soon as I like open my feed, it is full of we are hiring content writers at 10 paisa, at 20 paisa, and it's like it's filled with such posts.
It's a nightmare for you, but it's it's a ray of hope for a lot of people. I remember myself 2 years back, struggling with corneal infection 1 year back when I was struggling. And I was thinking that, okay, even if it's 50 paise unlimited work, I'll do it because I have this kind of financial goal for myself and it's okay. But until I'm not upskilling myself, so you can't write A and the in the same line and expect people to pay you 2 rupees, right? So you also have to upskill in a way that brands want to hire you. A lot of content writers that I talk to don't know the full form of ROI, and there's nothing bad in it. I did not know it 2 years back, but then, you have to upskill, you have to know the industry. And for somebody who's starting, that's fine. I know it's very derogatory to say that's fine, but they at least start that way. And then they move on to better platforms. Now I don't do lead generation from Facebook. I do it from Twitter or cold emailing. But 2 years back, this was not even a way. So I think for every level, there's a platform. The people who are starting off work on Facebook or Upwork, and then they move towards LinkedIn and Instagram. Then they understand, okay, there's a bigger game of networking. So they make their network so strong that they get such kind of leads, and they also start cold emailing. So it's a funnel. You think that the best of best marketers are sitting on LinkedIn and posting every day, engaging with a lot of content of other people? No, they have a team and they are doing cold emailing, and they have that sort of network. They have their YouTube channels and funnels in place. So probably right now, 2 of them might be having a conversation that, do you see content writers on LinkedIn? I feel pity for them. But every platform and every base is right for somebody or someone out there.
Yeah, that was beautifully explained. So I'm sure that there would be, I think, the other side also on Facebook. Maybe that is not explored. Maybe there might be, people who would be pioneers in content writing and would be hiring people on a credible way. I mean, the other side is also good, but how to find those right people on Facebook?
I would say that you see the engagement in a group. And, if you're trying to target individuals or finding a mentor, then go to LinkedIn. But if you're trying to find good projects in general, there are a lot of premium groups, right? And now I don't remember the name because that's why you have to take the name, you forget the name. But there are a lot of premium groups on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherein you can, just go and check out the gigs. There are a lot of good companies that are hiring. So, and sometimes when a good company is hiring for a content writer, you can just pitch in and say, hey, this will save you cost and time, and hire a freelancer. So that kind of pitches also work. So yeah, Facebook, there are some good groups, target them. There are good companies hiring, target them. And there's a job section also in Facebook. So you can try and scroll and see that if you find a relevant opportunity.
Thanks a lot for sharing your answer. So, I mean, our audience, including me, would love to go down the memory lane and tell us the story behind your first client.
Oh, all right. It was in a networking event. And, the same story, this person came to me and she said, can you write for, so there were like 500 products that she had on Amazon. And I had to write their description. And I was like, my descriptions would go on Amazon. Oh my God. Even though it's 10 paise for somebody who's starting out, just seeing their work live is a big thing. So I was like, okay, so 500. So it was natural oils and aroma oils. And all the oils were very similar for me, but I wrote 500 different explanations on why you should use this oil and that oil and this oil. And that was huge. I think that networking event, I stay in Noida. I went to Gurgaon. I changed a lot of metros and modes of transportations to reach there. And it had to start at 7 a.m. So I left my house at around 5:15 took an auto, then took a metro. Metro opens at 6:15. So there was a long chain, and it was all worth it. After a month or so, when I saw all my reviews live, all my descriptions live on Amazon, that was huge. So yes, I think that that particular client changed my life forever, because that's when I realized, okay, there's a world online, and there is scope. And then I went for a job in an agency, and then everything started happening, and I'm here, and I'm so glad that particular event happened. I was just there to get business for the company that I was working for, and how beautifully things twisted and turned. So you need to take any unexpected opportunity coming your way. Just because something is not very relevant for you now doesn't mean it'll never be relevant. So yeah. And thank you so much for taking me down that lane, because that reminds me when there are days when clients do not think that we are doing the work that we are doing, and a lot of things are not working very well. You remember your roots. You remember that there was this time when 10 paise was amazing. Seeing your work on Amazon was amazing. And, somebody just saying that, hey, you're a good writer. Probably someday you will be writing a Netflix series or something like that. And all those things mattered a lot. Now the revenue, the business part of it has just taken over. But yes, this question actually made the day much more easier. So thank you so much for asking.
I feel so happy to hear that. Like literally, I feel so content and happy to hear that, because I can completely relate. And coming out from an expert like you, like it feels like we all are connected somehow.
Yeah, indeed. Like all the people who are online have a similar story, and it's beautiful to see all these stories coming out from time to time.
So lastly, what is your bigger purpose as an organic growth specialist?
I think to change the conception around marketing, although it's a very cliche answer that, I'll be the next Ogilvy, I'll be making the next Ogilvy or the next minimalist or something like that. But, beyond that, there is a world wherein reality merges with marketing, and it's beautiful. A lot of times, brand comes to us and say, write this in the copy, promise this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very shady. I don't want to do that, and I don't do that. So, but what will change the conception is the real thing. So a lot of us would be successful freelancers and entrepreneurs, but at the end of the day, if we change the way marketing is seen, copywriting is seen, or any one of the online things is seen, like that famous book of Ogilvy did, people still read it after so many years. That's the kind of achievement that I would love to see. I don't know how it's going to come, but another very sure goal of mine is that 3 years down the line, I want to be into AI.
Mm-hmm.
So amalgamating AI with marketing and copywriting, and it's actually happening right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to learn coding. I'm trying to learn those little things. It's very difficult though, and I don't know what I'm going to do in 3 years. It'll be a disaster, but I'm still moving towards that, because I feel to make your business sustainable, you need to be very you need to embrace technology, and AI is the next big thing happening.
Absolutely.
So
So thanks a lot, Unnati, for sharing a lot of wisdom and insight. I think I'll, again, listen to this podcast and make notes out of it, because there is a lot of information digged inside this conversation. So thanks a lot again for coming on to the Women's Stories. And I really had a great time while having a deep and insightful conversation with you. And I really hope that you also had the same experience.
Thank you so much for inviting me over here, making my first podcast experience so beautiful, so amazing. And these are the 2 words that I've used the entire time. And that's because the kind of energy that you've created. Right? It's not very competitive. It's not like, give me this strategy, that strategy, boom, babu. And you've been so kind throughout the whole process. So thank you so much. I wish you all the best. I hope this becomes the best podcast of India and probably the world someday. You're doing an amazing job over here. And yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. And